everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another Telequarium episode with the Alaska Sea Life Center. My name is Lindsey, and today is a super special day here. But wherever you are in the world is a special day. Any guesses why? That's right, it's Earth Day 2020, and it's the 50th year we're all celebrating together. So go ahead, put on a party hat, especially you, and join us in celebrating this amazing planet that provides so much for us. And while you're at it, let us know in the comments where in the world you're celebrating from. Now during this time, I know things can seem really overwhelming, including trying to be better stewards of the world we live in. But it's important to remember that each person can make a positive impact, big or small. This Earth Day, we here at the Alaska Sea Life Center want to celebrate with you and share some ways that we like to help take care of our big blue planet. We hope this will give you ideas on what you can do at home, and if you're already doing things, let us know. We'd love to hear what you're doing. If you're simply staying home more right now and you're supporting local businesses, you're already making an impact simply by reducing your carbon footprint, and that is amazing. But without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to myself out in the field.
Hey everybody, happy Earth Day. I thought it'd be a fun way to celebrate the special day by going on a beach sweep, which is one of my favorite things to do, believe it or not. You guys can join in too, wherever you are. You don't need a beach to do the sweep, but I'll show you some of the tools you'll need to do this. It's really simple, and I hope we'll have a lot of fun today. So let's get started.
For the beach sweep, I brought a reusable bag, but if you have a paper bag from the grocery store, that can work too. You can even recycle or compost it later. I also brought along a glove to help pick up trash that I find. You never know what you'll come across, so it's good to have some protection. Once you have your trash tools, you can find your favorite spot outside to socially distance, but naturally immerse, and start cleaning up your area of the earth. My area today is the beach of Resurrection Bay in Seward, Alaska. Whenever I start doing a sweep, I like to take in my surroundings first. While we're enjoying this beautiful view, go ahead and take 5 deep breaths. Did you take those breaths? Well, wherever you are, no matter how far from the ocean, it's estimated that 1 out of every 5 of those breaths had oxygen in it that was provided by a specific phytoplankton found in the ocean. How cool is that? Okay. Now that we've taken a moment of appreciation, let's start sweeping. Alright you guys, let's look for some trash. Do you see any? I see that candy wrapper too. Let's pick it up. Well done, team. We got it. Let's see what else we can find. Thanks for joining me for the beach sweep, everyone. Let's enjoy this gorgeous view one last time before I head back inside. Awesome! Well, I hope that inspires some of you to go outside and do a sweep of your own today. But I'm not the only one at the Alaska Sea Life Center celebrating Earth Day. Educator Darin is celebrating in his own Alaskan way. Darin, do you mind telling us some of the awesome things that you're doing to help out the planet? And while you're at it, could you compost my beach sweep bag for me?
Thanks, Lindsey. This one actually looks like it's got a little bit more life to it, so I'm going to hold on to it for now, see if I can find some more uses for it before it's totally done. But I promise, when I'm finished with it, I will send it to the compost bin to become food for our garden. So as Lindsey said, I'm going to share some of the things that I like to do to support the earth here, and not just on Earth Day, but every day. So let's start off with that compost bin, shall we? This is a look inside our compost bin at home, and when I am done with that brown paper bag, I'm going to shred it into small pieces and then toss it in there. We'll stir it up, and you can see as we're stirring the compost, there is already shredded paper in our compost bin. And that paper helps to kind of balance the moisture. So we put a lot of food scraps into the compost bin. That's a lot of what's going to be decomposing in there. Things like banana peels and coffee grounds, orange peels, apple cores. And those are really wet. So adding some dry material like dried grasses, shredded paper, dry leaves, that helps to give a good moisture balance. And you don't have to be a professional composter to make things rot, right? But every little bit helps, and even just stirring it around a little bit helps to mix in a lot of oxygen. You can see while we're stirring it, all this steam is rising up from the compost. You can feel the heat coming off of that compost heap, and that's your indication that decomposition is really going crazy in there. Of course, when it's done, months later, we'll add it to the garden. This is what our garden looks like right now. Those are the scraps from last year's garden that are going to be cut up and put into the compost bin. But if you're not maybe a green thumb yourself, you can look for signs like this. Fresh local produce. This is a way for you to support local agriculture. And of course, there's going to be a huge amount of energy saved. In our grocery stores here in Alaska, we have tags that say Alaska grown. That helps us know what came locally and not from somewhere far away that cost a lot of energy to get here. Another thing that we like to do here in Alaska is grab our own food locally. And this is something that, of course, a lot of people like to do, is just get out there and go fishing. It's a fun way to get into the outdoors. Maybe not the most efficient way to catch food if you're a fisherman like myself. I don't have a lot of luck, but sometimes we catch fish out there. We also like to do some gathering of mushrooms and berries. Mushrooms in particular, of course, you got to know what you're looking for, so it's safe. But you don't have to live in Alaska to be able to do things like that. And to save energy, you can do just about anywhere. This is our local school. One of the things they have beyond the typical playground is a little sledding hill there. That's a locally available resource, gravity. And so kids can play on the sledding hill at recess throughout the winter. In your local school, you likely have a recycling program. That can help too. The important thing with recycling is to know what is recyclable in your local area and what is not recyclable. So read those labels carefully, really understand those bins, and make sure you're putting the right things in the right bins. Now, Lindsey went to a little bit more exotic location for her cleanup, but I just went into the ditch in front of our house. But this ditch would lead into the local waterway and out to the ocean. So anywhere you live on our planet, if you pick up trash in that area and get it into the right place instead of just leaving it on the ground, you are helping the ocean. So here I am just picking up some trash in our ditch. Now again, this was just the other day. You can see there's hardly any green yet here on Earth Day in Alaska. It's not quite springtime yet for us, but we're getting there, Now, Lindsey used a reusable, like a grocery bag. I actually used a reused sand bag. So in the wintertime, everything's covered in ice here in Alaska. We use that sand for traction on our sidewalks, and then I reuse the bag for heavy-duty trash that I might find out in the yard. One of the other things that we clean up here in the springtime in Alaska is a lot of just kind of overgrowth. We have so much growth here in the summer with all of our sunlight, and the kids decided to make a little playground structure with our locally harvested trees. The ones that didn't work their way into the playground structure, I put on my car. Now, I don't have a big truck. I like to have a little bit more fuel-efficient vehicle, but every once in a while I need to haul something big. With a couple of Boy Scout knots and a little patience, I can use my car for a little bit more heavy-duty things. Another way to save energy is, of course, look for energy-efficient appliances. They put that little logo, the Energy Star logo, on those appliances to help us out. That's an easy one. And something else I like to do is, instead of using power tools, I like to get myself a little exercise, spend a little bit more time in the outdoors, and use hand tools. If I need a little bit of firewood for our tiny little fire pit, I'm going to grab some of that brush and cut it into small pieces, stack it up neatly, and let it dry out for future fires, future hot dog roasts. But using hand tools is a good way to save energy too. Here are some things that people might not think of right away. The ability to repair things. So if you've got a sewing machine or even just a needle and thread, you can stitch something up that might be starting to fall apart, and before it dies completely, you can repair it and give it a much longer life. So there, in just under a minute, I gave my jeans another 6 months of life, probably. Same thing goes for broken toys. Now, broken toys, maybe you can mend them, or maybe just pass them along to someone else who can get a little enjoyment out of them as well. Use those secondhand stores and thrift stores in town. So even if you don't live out there in the wild tundra of Alaska, you can still do a lot to help the ocean and join the party with my little creatures here. Do your own thing. Here's something else you could do at home. Reusing Ziploc bags. This is an easy one. Doesn't take much. I happen to like this little kelp structure that we found online, but you can make your own out of a couple of sticks. Just a way to prop up those baggies so that they can dry out after you wash them and reuse those bags instead of throwing them away. It's actually really simple to accomplish a lot of these tasks that can make a big difference in our world. So hope you're all taking care out there, enjoying Earth Day 2020, and thanks again to Lindsey for showing us the outdoors here in Alaska and what she likes to do to take care of the planet. And thanks for sticking with us today for another Telequarium program. Check out the Education Corner playlist on our YouTube channel. There's loads more programs like this one. And our Facebook page as well has lots of interesting information on it too. Thanks again.